Hard sports all plays. Yeah. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Hard sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk, Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. I'm Gonzo. He's the Judge. How's it going, Judge?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Gonzo and the Judge. We are happy that you have come to be a part of the show tonight. You guys are always welcome. We thank you guys wholeheartedly. This is going to be another fun show, as it usually is, because the Judge, as always, he brings the energy. So does Gonzo. Gonzo knows his stuff, and we do what we do over here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a pleasure. Love y'all. Thank you so very much. Gonzo, how are we feeling tonight?
Not too bad. Just trying to figure out what was going on with the screen there. I was putting one thing up and a different thing was coming up, but I think we're good now. But no, had a good weekend of some football, college football, NFL, and of course, 2 NFL games last night. So been pretty good week so far. Just looking at my picks for today, I'm 3-1 so far on my picks with 1 left. So it looks like I'm having another good day on my picks, which are 514. Well, we're 514 and 398 going into today on the year. So I've been doing pretty good on my picks. You can always check out Easy Money, a sports betting show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern at Gonzo Sports Room and also at the All Sports All Plays Network. So make sure you check that out as well. But no, man, I had a couple of football games last night. Another big story coming out of Monday Night Football was Nick Chubb blowing out his knee. Looked like it could be a career-ending injury. I hope it's not. But, I mean, as bad as that looked, I hate to say I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being, especially for a running back, and especially this isn't the first time that he's had to have that knee worked on. I think it was 2015 or 16, if I remember correctly. He had to have a big major surgery in that knee, and he was able to come back from that and build himself back up to being one of the best running backs in the NFL. And then last night we see he takes a hit right on that knee, and it bent completely the way it wasn't supposed to bend. So hopefully the best wishes for him. Hopefully he can get back maybe next season. I haven't heard for sure that he's out for the season, but just by looking at it, I would say he's out for the season. But if he is, hopefully he'll be able to come back next year. But man, it was a nasty looking injury last night.
Gonzo, football sucks. Football is the most exciting sport in America. We love football. Most men crave football. We celebrate these big, violent hits. We just are madly obsessed with the game of football. But As we know, the game of football is extremely dangerous. It's a very violent sport. Injuries happen in this game. Nick Chubb is a loss the Browns will feel because he is a huge part of their offense. Uh, he makes that offense go. And I mean, this is a huge loss. It's hard to replace a guy like Nick Chubb. It really is hard to find a replacement for him. It's an unfortunate loss. Uh, the injury is truly grotesque. This stinks. It's a significant knee injury, a significant blow. It's crazy to me, Gunzo, because look, it's crazy for someone to suffer the same type of injury to the same leg twice. Like you said, you mentioned moments ago, this happened at Georgia. His first knee injury at Georgia was eerily similar to the injury that he sustained last night. This is just another disturbing reminder how much players risk on the field. I mean, players are running the risk every time they take the field. Medical personnel is comparing the knee injury to Willis McGahee's gruesome injury. Remember that years ago? That was one nasty injury. His knee bent completely backwards. It was crazy. It's very similar to the one sustained by
Alex
McGahee, which
Alex
is crazy.
Smith.
Huh?
Alex Smith a few years ago.
Alex Smith, that was ugly too. That was ugly too.
Joe,
And I mean,
and of course, everybody goes back to the old school one in Joe Theismann.
Right. And look, we see these type of injuries, right, Gunzo? And our reactions are like, oh no. Our immediate reaction is like, we shut our eyes, right? We want to cover our eyes because seeing that, it's so painful, right? Just looking at it. And that's what it was last night. I mean, it's just painful to see. When you see the replay, ouch, oh my God. Like, all you can really do is pray for the guy and hope that he makes a comeback. Because, look, he suffered one of the nastiest injuries you will ever see. I mean, that was gruesome. It gave me the chills. I mean, that's something that would give you the chills. It makes you sick seeing that, and it makes you sick seeing that his season has come to an end. You know, unfortunately, and I don't want to say this because I don't want to sound negative. Unfortunately, Chubb may never play another down because he dislocated the same knee he injured in 2015 at Georgia. You hate to see it. You never want to see anything like that. You know, the Browns already knew it was the worst case scenario the moment it happened in Monday night's loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, all they were waiting for was confirmation of their worst fear. And that news, you know, came back today. The Browns received the news after Chubb underwent an MRI on his left knee. And sure enough, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski confirmed Tuesday afternoon that Chubb will undergo surgery that will end his season. It's just a huge blow. It really sucks.
Oh yeah, it's going to hurt Cleveland because I mean he basically is their offense, especially the way Deshaun Watson's been playing. Deshaun Watson has not been playing well at all. I was really expecting him to look better this year than he did last year. Last year I wasn't expecting a lot from Deshaun Watson because he was missing 11 games off the suspension, and I'd already missed basically a season before that. So coming off that long layoff, not having a lot of time with the team, with the Browns, being a new team and everything, I didn't expect a lot from him last year. But then you get into this season, and with the whole off season, not having all the distractions he had going on with all his legal stuff, with that calming down a lot, and having the whole off season with his team and getting to know this system, I was expecting him to come out looking more like the old Deshaun Watson. And I don't know if that's there anymore. I think this might be the new guy that he is, and he got that $234 million contract, and looks like he's going to be smiling to the bank with it, because he's not playing like no $200 million quarterback, that's for sure. And then now you lose your main offensive weapon in Chubb, so they're going to need Watson to really step up. Their rookie running back, that Ford, he ran the ball pretty good last night. So
yeah, he ran for over 100 yards.
He's going to get an opportunity.
He's going to get an opportunity. But I also heard today that they have reached out to Kareem Hunt on the possibility of bringing him back. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there.
I think that's probably going to be their best option. I know, like Big Baby Sports says here that about Jonathan Taylor. I know his name has been brought up. But I think Hunt's the more realistic fit. For one, he's been in Cleveland the last couple of years, so he knows the system. He knows the players and everything. So he could be a good fit, and not take him a long time to catch up. I'm not saying Hunt's as good as Taylor. Taylor still can't play for a couple more weeks, coming off his injury. How much is a team really going to want to invest in trading for him? Not really knowing why he's going to look like coming back. Hasn't played because of that injury. Been on the PUP list. Supposed to be come back week 5. So I think you're right. I think it's going to end up being Hunt that they're probably going to get, unless they just can't work out something with Hunt. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But even if they get another running back, if Deshaun Watson don't start playing some better ball at the quarterback position, I don't see the Browns going real far this season.
No, that just sucked all of the life out of that team when Nick Chubb went down. It changes the whole narrative. It changes the whole dynamic of the season. It's a different outlook on the season. Again, this injury will hurt them more than anything, but yeah, you now you gotta try to fill the void. Hopefully you get Kareem Hunt. Hopefully Kareem Hunt can come in there and be productive, give you a massive chunk of yards, run the ball efficiently. That's the only thing you can hope for at this point.
Yeah, no, that's all they can hope for, and they got to hope that Deshaun Watson steps up for them if they're going to be still a competitive team. They should have won that game last night. You're playing against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has shown really no signs of having any offense the first couple games, and the Steelers was able to win that game basically because of their defense scoring points. You had to pick 6 at the beginning of the game, and J.J. Watts
I felt like
fumble recovery for a touchdown at the end of the game.
I felt like watching that game last night that Deshaun Watson wasn't very comfortable. He didn't look very comfortable out there. He was pressured a lot by that Steelers defensive front. He couldn't really elude the pocket. The pressure was a bit too much for him. And I just thought for much of the night, he didn't look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable at all. And he was being harassed for much of the night. He was being harassed. That Steelers defensive front was dominant last night. Like, they were really, really controlling the line of scrimmage. Everything was working in their favor, and they were able to put a lot of pressure on Deshaun Watson. Didn't allow him to do much. He was limited on what he could do because defenders were swarming him and coming at him to make his night very difficult.
No, I agree, and I think the same for Kenny Pickett. Pickett didn't look comfortable at all in that game either, and I thought Pickett was showing signs last season of starting to grow and improve, but these first couple games, to me, it almost looks like a little bit of a step back from last season. Even from the way he played in preseason. I know you can't take a lot from preseason, but the way you saw Pickett toward the end of last season and then in preseason this year, I was expecting a little bit bigger improvement from him. And and I haven't seen it yet in these first 2 games. I mean, hell, it's been so their offense has been so bad that you had 70,000 people last night there in Pittsburgh chanting "Fire Canada." Um, and I'm not a big fan of that Canada as their offensive coordinator either. I mean, I'm not a Steelers fan, but just from watching football, that offense with him there has not looked great. But I can't put it all on him either because, yeah, he's the guy calling the plays, but the players have to execute the plays, and the quarterback hasn't been executing. So it's hard to tell if it's how much is whose fault. I think it's a mixture of both. Uh, but yeah, this Steelers defense is so damn good. If they could just get some kind of offense together where their defense isn't on the field all the time, they would be a tough team to beat. But right now, the way their offense is playing, I think their defense is going to get wore out.
Kenny Pickett, it was a lack of execution. It was a lack of execution, a series of miscommunications. The offense at times didn't look organized. Yes, can you place a lot of the blame on Matt Canada? Absolutely. A lot of people are calling for Matt Canada's job. I think he is part of the problem. I think a lot of the blame falls on Kenny Pickett too. Of course, he's the quarterback, but a lot of that blame goes on the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Matt Canada. I don't know. It's just the play calling is questionable. I don't know. I feel like you're not putting your quarterback in the best situation to thrive, to flourish, to be successful. And that's what you're seeing from the Steelers offense. It's just completely, it's chaotic. It's like it's all over the place, And that's what I saw last night in that game. A lot of things has to change for that Steelers offense, for sure.
And then in the other game last night, you had the battle of the best division in football right now, the NFC South, which is funny. It's funny just because you have 3 teams in that division that have started 2-0, and I don't think anybody would have thought that division out of any division in the NFL would have had 3 teams start out 2-0. I know most people going in thought that the South was the weakest division. NFC South might be the weakest division in football. And now you got 3 teams 2-0. Not saying that that's going to be a tough division because I still think it's going to be one of the weaker divisions. But you got the surprise with the Bucks at 2-0. But then you have the battle. You had the Saints and the Panthers play last night. Now the Saints are 2-0. Their offense hasn't looked great yet, but that defense is nasty. Derek Carr hasn't played terrible. I think it's still getting used to his new weapons and the new team. But if that New Orleans Saints offense can get clicking a little better because they have weapons, they're going to get Kamara back here in a couple weeks, and then Olave's looking good. That Shaheed made a big play down the sideline as well. Derek Carr can get that offense rolling a little bit. That Saints team, I think, could surprise some people, especially with how good that defense has been playing. And then with the Panthers, their defense looked pretty good, but their offense didn't look good at all. I'm not blaming it all on Bryce Young. He's a young quarterback, and he don't have a whole lot of weapons around him to really get the ball to. And the offensive line has to play a little bit better, especially with a rookie quarterback. But what do you think about the Saints so far? Do you think the Saints could be a threat in the playoffs this year if they can get that offense rolling?
If they get their offense rolling, absolutely. The Saints are coming. The Saints are coming. The Saints are marching in. The Saints are marching in. Yes, the Saints are for real. Look, the Saints have made the playoffs 14 times and have won 9 division championships in their history. I firmly believe that their championship window is still open, even though I'm not really a huge fan of their coach. I don't really like Dennis Allen as their head coach. I mean, I just don't. I just don't. However, I do think this is a change of scenery for a guy like Derek Carr. I think this is a place where he knows he can contend. He's never had a defense this good. With the Raiders, the defense allowed a lot of yards. So he didn't really have a great defense behind him. Now he does. He's embracing this opportunity. He knows that now he has a chance to finally contend for a Super Bowl title, and the Saints give him that best chance to do that. So I like the Saints. I like that defense. The defense doesn't have any question marks. It's the offense. I think that will all come into play in time. I think you got to give these guys time to gel together. Chemistry will take shape. Derek Carr is still learning his receivers. I felt like they were targeting Michael Thomas more than they were getting Chris Olave involved in the game. I think you need to, spray the ball around the field. Get all your receivers involved. Make this a more dynamic offense by targeting Chris Olave as well. Make him a threat in that offense, because now what you do, you take more attention away from a guy like Michael Thomas, and that will get him open. That will give him more targets. So I think with the weapons that you have at your disposal, you have to use them to your advantage. And I think all of that will come in time.
Yeah, that's the only thing that worries me a little bit about the Saints is I'm not big on Dennis Allen, but if I think Carr's going to get better as the season goes on, because he's going to get more comfortable with Thomas and with Olave and the other weapons on that team, and with them getting Kamara back, I think you will see an improvement in the offense. So I think they could be a team to deal with later on. Then you have the Dolphins improve to 2-0, big win over the Patriots. It's a hard-fought game. Patriots had chances of being able to win that game. That wasn't like the Dolphins just blew them out. Ended up being 24-17. But Dolphins have looked pretty good the first 2 weeks with a win over the Eagles and then now a win over the Patriots. I know a lot of people are already crowning them as the best team in the AFC. I'm not ready to go that far with them yet. But Tua has been playing some pretty good football. I think they got to get their run game going a little bit, which they were able to a little bit this week with Mostert after not being able to much in week 1. But the New England team, if they could just figure out the offensive side of the ball, a way to be a little more consistent on offense, they could be a tough team to beat, because that defense is fun to watch. And Mac Jones hasn't played terrible, but it seems like it takes them a little while to get going in the game. They get off to a pretty slow start offensively, and they dig themselves a little bit of a hole, and then they get going. They got to find a way to start quicker. And I know they don't have a whole lot of weapons on the offensive side. For some reason, that's been a weakness of Belichick's, is being able to draft wide receivers and getting some weapons for the quarterback. But with that defense they have, they can figure out a way to start that offense off a little quicker, be a little more consistent. They're going to be in a lot of football games.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but I'm back. Yeah, you're right. They're going to be in a lot of football games. I still like the Miami Dolphins, though, in that division. The reason I say that is because I believe in Tua. I'm a firm believer in Tua. I just think that this is his season. This is his year to finally have a breakthrough year. I think what has held him back and why he hasn't been able to really take off and elevate his team and get himself to the next level is because of concussions and injuries, and we saw what he's done in the first 2 weeks. Now, I know he looked a little shaky in week 2. He wasn't as sharp. Some throws were bad throws. That's going to happen. You're going to have some games like that. But with Tyreek Hill and with all the weapons that he has around him, that team is fast, man. They can run. They turn football games into track meets. So, I like the Dolphins, but yeah, the Patriots are a team to look out for too. Bill Belichick has always had a great defensive unit. No question about it. It's just that the offense has to get it together. They will never get another Tom Brady. That's not happening again. They're gonna have to make it work with Mac Jones as their starting quarterback. That's how it's gonna be for the New England Patriots. But yeah, the New England Patriots have shown glimpses, and yeah, they got a chance to compete.
So I like the Dolphins, but right now I still have the Bills winning that division. I know the Bills lost first week, a game they shouldn't have lost. You shouldn't lose to the Jets after especially after Aaron Rodgers gets knocked out after 4 plays. But Allen had some turnover issues that game. Let the Bills bounce back this week with a 38-10 win over the Raiders. Josh Allen I know he turns the ball over, but he's also thrown as more touchdowns than anybody in that span as well. So I still like the Bills, especially if Von Miller is healthy toward the end of the season, and because that will help with their pass rush. So I still like the Bills in that division, but the Dolphins are a good team and are going to be right there. It sucks that Rodgers got hurt because I wanted to see what the Jets were going to be this year, and what the Jets could have been, and the Bills and the Dolphins all in that division. That was going to be fun to watch. But I think it's going to be between Miami and the Bills. But right now, I still favor the Bills a little bit over Miami.
A lot of people are saying the Patriots are cooked because they got off to an 0-2 start for the first time since 2001. Okay, they got off to a 0-2 start. A lot of teams that get off to an 0-2 start, they can turn their season around. We've seen it happen.
The Bengals were 0-2 last year.
They were 0-2 last year.
AFC Championship game.
Right, exactly.
They're 0-2 again this year. I don't think they're cooked.
And the Patriots losses. I mean it happened.
They lost to a good Philadelphia Eagles team and a good Miami Dolphins team. It's It's not like they lost to teams that are at the bottom of the league.
Exactly. I was just going to say that too. The losses came against the talented Eagles and the Dolphins. And both of those losses, I get it, came in the comfy confines of Gillette Stadium. So now New England hits the road in 3 of its next 4 games. We'll see how it goes. Again, the defense, like you said, has looked good. But Mac Jones has thrown the most passes in the NFL. That is not a recipe for success. So that's a bit concerning because he's thrown a lot of passes.
The problem that's been New England's problem is they haven't been able to run the ball.
You gotta have a consistent ground game, and that's something that they don't have going on for them right now.
Which is surprising because that's usually where they're
right
strong at. It's usually passing the ball is where they struggle more, but this year so far has been the run game.
Right, and I mean that is a heavy burden on Mac Jones' shoulder, expecting him or asking him to throw the ball 40 or 50 times a game. That is just too much.
Yeah, and Mac Jones hasn't played bad these first 2 games. These 2 losses haven't all been on Mac Jones. I mean, I didn't watch all the games Sunday night, but I watched quite a bit of that game, and it wasn't just because of him that they ended up losing that game. I think getting an offensive coordinator has helped them. But like I said, he has to get off to a little bit quicker start. But I think if they got a run game going, that would help.
But here's the thing, Gonzo, for the Patriots. It gets tough now because look at their schedule. They have the Jets, the Cowboys, and the Saints on tab. They are likely to go 1-4.
I can see him beating the Jets, just because the Jets don't have much of an offense right now. I don't trust Zach Wilson.
Strange. It's really strange. It's weird to say with Bill Belichick's team. I mean, and it's weird to see the Patriots like this because for so long they have dominated, right? They went on this dynastic run. They were winning games. They were at the highest summit, they just couldn't be beaten. We remember those days, right? And we were just so tired of the New England Patriots. We was like, damn, when will this team go away? I mean, because they were just that good in the Tom Brady era. And now the Patriots are like one of those teams that is just trying to reload. They're trying to get it together with a younger team, with a team that has a good defense. We just have to wait and see how it all folds for the Patriots. But I think they're the third best team in the AFC. Excuse me, not the NFC, but I think they are the third best team. I think it's fair to say that they're the third best team in the AFC East.
And believe me, I don't feel sorry for the Patriots at all. I'm a Colts fan, so Patriots can lose all the time. But the problem with one of the problems the Patriots have is where it's hard to rebuild a team because they're not at the top level of the NFL, but they're also not at the bottom of the NFL. They're one of those middle of the pack or a little bit higher than middle of the pack teams. So you don't get a good draft pick. You don't get a high draft pick. So you know what I mean. So without having that star quarterback, it's hard to build a team because you're not good enough to win the Super Bowl, but you're also not bad enough to be at toward the bottom of the league where you get that high draft pick. So that can make it rough sometimes to rebuild, especially if you don't draft some position players well. RC Talks Basketball ask who's definitely the worst 0-2 team. He said he's going to go. He said I go easily with the Bears. 0-2 teams.
No, it for me it's got to be the Bengals, man.
You think the Bengals are the worst 0-2 team?
The worst 0-2 team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You think the Bears are a better football team than the Bengals?
Wait, rephrase the question. What's the question again? Because I'm a bit confused. Okay, let me see.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, if I may.
Who's definitively the worst 0-2 team?
So out of the teams that are 0-2, who do you think's the worst?
I don't know. For me, it's the Bengals because they are the favorites to win that division. Cincinnati,
I think
is playing in the best division in football. Arguably, maybe, I don't know, but I didn't expect them to come out and get off to an 0-2 start. And now Joe Burrow's calf tweak is been a serious issue, it seems. I don't know. I'm just a little surprised that this team is 0-2 to start the season. But I guess it's almost, 0-2. I guess it's almost a tradition, right? Under Taylor to get off to a slow start. We've seen it before. So
not even just Taylor. Not even just Taylor. I think Joe Burrow is like 1-7 or 1-6 in weeks 1 and 2. So I mean, since Burrow's been there, they haven't been good in the first couple weeks.
I don't know. The Bears are not.
Don't get me wrong. I think Cincinnati was a surprise team to me that they're 0-2. But I think right now I would say the Bears, because I think the Bears right now have looked like one of the worst teams in football.
The Bears are the Bears, man. I mean,
the Chargers are 0-2, but they lost to a Dolphins team in a close game, and then they lost to the Titans in a close game.
The Chargers are in big trouble.
But I think I'd have to say the worst team right now are the 0-2 teams. I guess Carolina. I'd have to say either Carolina or the Bears, but honestly, I think Carolina is a little bit better than the Bears right now, especially the way Justin Fields has looked. I mean, this is a guy all I heard all offseason was how Justin Fields was going to be the MVP of the MVP of the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears were going to be so much better with all the players they brought in and everything, and they don't look no better at all. Justin Fields, hell, they won't let him throw the ball, even attempt to hardly throw the ball down the field. Everything's close to the line of scrimmage. He's not his best thing he done last year was run the ball. He's not trying to run the ball. So I'd have to say the Bears. The Vikings are 0-2 as well, but the Vikings, I mean, they lost the game to the Eagles, and then I forget who they lost their first game to. But
you're not going very far with Kirk Cousins.
I agree with those. I'd have to say the Bears are probably the worst team right now.
You're not going very far with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. I'm sorry.
I disagree. That loss, them losses are especially that last loss. That last loss wasn't on Kirk.
Yeah, but it's gonna come a moment where he does something stupid in the game and cost his team by throwing an interception. We've seen it too often from him.
I think the Vikings' bigger problem is their defense. I don't think their problem's Cousins. I think their problems are defense.
I like what Brian Flores
last year they had one of the worst defenses in the league, and this year their defense hasn't been a whole lot better yet.
No, we haven't seen an upgrade yet, but I think you got to give it time because they do have a new defensive coordinator.
No, I know they have a new yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying about it. So far, I haven't seen their defense look a whole lot better. That's why I don't.
Right. Yeah,
I don't put a whole lot of blame on Cousins there because if you're scoring 30 points a game and your defense giving up 35, I mean, there's not.
I don't know. Last year they did a good job of putting on a facade. Last year, the Vikings did. They were good last season, and then towards the end of the regular season, they started to backpedal a bit, and they didn't look like the dominant team that they were earlier in the year.
Well, if you look, though,
it's really hard to put your finger on the Minnesota Vikings. Like it's hard to identify the team. It really is.
But if you look at the Vikings, even last year, they really weren't a dominant team. Last year, they won, I think, 11 games that were like one-score games. It was just
a lot of the games were close.
It seemed like the ball bounced. They got the bounces a lot last year, where maybe this year, the first couple games, they haven't.
Yep. It's like a lottery ball.
It goes back if you go back to last year, there was a lot of times they'd score 28, 30 points and they'd be in, but their defense couldn't stop anybody. If they can improve that defense, I think they could be a good team. So yeah, I would have to say 0-2 teams. I'd probably go with the Bears.
I would say this about the Bears.
I've been disappointed. I've been disappointed in Justin's Field so far.
I have too. I want to say this about the Bears because there was so much hype surrounding this team coming into the season, following an offseason of free agent spending, marquee trades being made, solid drafting in Chicago. Everyone was talking about what Justin Fields was going to do, that this was going to be his breakout year. And I know it's still early and everything. Everybody was putting so much hype on this kid, right? And the Bears appeared poised to make some serious noise this year. Not exactly. It hasn't happened just yet. I know, Bears fans had their hopes up high and they really started to believe in this team, and they were feeling really good about this team. The Bears were going to be this feel-good story and everything. Turns out it's been a complete nightmare for the Bears. The Bears posted the worst record in the NFL in 2022, and now they're picking up where they left off, it seems. They somehow look even worse in 2023, having dropped each of their first 2 games by double digits. Fields looks lost. He looks rattled. He's getting little help from an upgraded offensive line. The defense has been shredded by Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. Yes, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield picked that team apart. Baker Mayfield looked like an all-pro quarterback. He really did against the Bears, and he embarrassed that team. Like, you're going to let Baker Mayfield
whoa.
Like that? Come on now. That defense was so discombobulated that Baker Mayfield looked like a legitimate star quarterback in this league.
Now, Hey, you got to put some respect on Baker Mayfield's name now. Come on now. He's 2-0 with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
He's 2-0. I mean that. I think that's the biggest surprise to this NFL season.
And he's played pretty. Baker's played pretty good so far this season, and I'm glad to see it. I was a big. I'm not gonna lie, I was a big Baker fan coming out of college, and then I thought he got done wrong.
You're seeing
he got done wrong.
Transformation. Wow,
he got done wrong by Cleveland. I thought because I mean, hell, before he got to Cleveland, they hadn't won. Hell, they were lucky if they won one game. And then he gets them to the playoffs. And then the next season, he hurts his shoulder, tries to play hurt. And then they kick him out the door to bring in Deshaun Watson. And look how that's worked out for them so far. I know he went to Carolina last year. It didn't work out. Went to the Rams. He had a couple good games with the Rams. I mean, we all knew that wasn't going to be a long-term thing with the Rams because they have Stafford. So he's getting an opportunity there with Tampa. And so far this year, he's been playing well. Is it going to last the whole season? I wouldn't bet a whole lot of money on it. But hey, yeah, I don't, like you said, I don't think anybody saw the Bucks being 2-0. I think a lot of people thought the Bucks might be with the team that we'd be talking about after 2 weeks being the worst 0-2 team in football. And instead, the Bucks are 2-0. So that has been a surprise. Another team that's been a little bit of a surprise to me is your Los Angeles Rams.
Yes. Puka, man. Doesn't that sound like a song? Like the first part of his name? Like you could make a song out of it. You could go Puka, Puka, Puka. Or you could say Puka Matata. I don't know. I mean, you could like play around with the name. But man, he's been impressive, man. And he's only a rookie. And you know, Sean McVay spoke highly of him. Sean McVay said that he's one of the most mature players that he's ever been around. That's a big statement right there. And that tells you a lot about this kid. He has caught on really fast. And you know, the biggest worry was what were the Rams going to do without Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp is going to miss the next now 2 games. It was 4 coming into the season. So you were down and you were down without your top star receiver. So that was the biggest question mark there. And you got guys like Puka stepping up, Tutu Atwell making plays. The Rams have surprised a lot of people early, I will say. Yes, they lost to the 49ers. I expected that loss to happen because the 49ers are clearly the most complete team in the National Football League right now. There's no doubt about it. There's no arguing it. There's no debating it. It is what it is. And so the Rams losing that game, that was expected. But the Rams beating Seattle to open the season on the road in a hostile environment, that was an impressive victory. And Matthew Stafford, he looked rejuvenated. He looks, you know, like a healthy quarterback. You know, he's played some fairly good football. You know, now he's made some mistakes too. He's thrown some interceptions already, you know, but if you look back to week 1, he was flawless. I mean, he put up some good numbers.
Yeah, and I know the Rams lost to the 49ers, but they were in that game. I like the way Stafford's been playing. That Nakua has looked good these first 2 games. You get Kupp back, that's going to help that Rams team. Glenn, the Rams are going to need all the luck they can get on the first because the Colts are going to give the Rams that L that day. Glenn said good luck on October 1st, Judge, but he was talking about the Colts and Rams play each other that day because Glenn's a Colts fan like I am.
I hear you. Hey, you know what? It might be one of those up and down years for the Rams, you know. We'll just have to wait and see. It's a small sample size. It's still early.
I like the way they're playing.
Yeah,
just like my Colts. We're one of
Colts encouraging signs.
the Colts are 1-1 now. I like the way we've looked so far. We lost to a Jacksonville team first week where we were winning that game with like 6 minutes left. Kind of fell apart a little bit in the fourth quarter. Only thing that worries me when we pick up a win against a young Houston Texans team where the Colts dominated most of that game. Only thing that worries me about the Colts is we have to get Anthony Richardson to be able to make it through a whole damn game. Week 1, he got pulled out with about a minute left because he was banged up. Week 2, he don't even make it through the first half, and he ends up with in concussion protocol. So we're not sure if he'll play this week yet or not. Depends on if he can clear protocols. If he don't play this week against the Ravens, then I'm sure he'll probably be back the next week. But that's been the one thing so far with the Colts is we got to figure out how to keep Richardson on the damn field. He's looked good, pretty good the first game and a quarter. Like I said, he didn't get to play the whole game. But one thing that did help us, we have a pretty good backup in Minshew. He was able to come in. Colts was still able to control that game and get the win. But I think the Colts are a little bit better of a football team than a lot of people thought they were going to be coming into the season. Defenses look good through the first 2 games. I think the offense will keep getting better as Richardson gets more experience. But I've been thrilled with the way Richardson has played, other than he has to, like I said, you got to stay healthy. And so far, he hasn't been able to really protect himself, and he's got banged up.
Right.
So hopefully, he can get back on the
his
field.
mindset. I like Anthony Richardson's mindset, but he must prioritize his health. That is extremely important. The franchise is depending on him. They need him to stay healthy. They drafted him for a reason. They drafted him to be that guy, to be their quarterback, and that is the most important position in football. And they need him to stop being so damn aggressive. He needs to stop.
I agree with you. With you. But this week, it wasn't. But when he got the hit that got the injury, it wasn't about him being. It wasn't him being too aggressive. It was he kind of pulled up. He was going into the end zone for a touchdown. Kind of pulled up like he didn't think anybody was going to hit him, and he got hit. And then when he hit the ground, his head flashed back and hit the turf. Now, I do agree with you because in week 1, it was a couple times where he took some shots there wasn't no reason for him to take. This one, it was kind of like he pulled up, or it was like he should have stayed aggressive going into the end zone. And then I don't think that hit would have got him like that, but he kind of pulled up, relaxed, and got hit, and then fell awkward, head bounced off the ground.
He's fearless.
He got back up. He got back up and played a little bit, and then I guess he went and said, "Hey, something's not right." They evaluated him. They took him out of the game. But like I said, I've been happy with the way he's played. He just has to figure out a way. He has to protect himself a little bit better. And he's a young player. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience playing either, because it ain't like he played a whole lot of college ball. He only played like 12, 13 games in college too. So I think he'll get better at that. But that's something that he's going to have to do. Is I'm all about being aggressive, but you also have to pick your spots, because it don't do you no good to be. You can't be aggressive. Well, let me rephrase that. You can't be aggressive if you're not in the field. So you got to learn how to pick your spots where you can protect yourself, so you can be on the field and have the chances to be aggressive and make plays. But if you're too aggressive and you get yourself hurt, then you're not helping yourself or the team.
Wasn't he diagnosed with a concussion?
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't. I figure we'll find out more maybe tomorrow or Thursday about how he's progressing. It sounds like he's doing pretty good, because I know I think he was out somewhere yesterday, but you just never know how people are going to respond, and if you're going to be able to get through the concussion protocols.
Right.
To be able to play this week. So, I mean, there's a chance he don't play this week. Right now, I think he'll play, but I figure we'll find out a little more probably tomorrow, being Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I figure we'll know more going into Sunday. Colts play the Ravens this week, so I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Ravens haven't looked bad. I know what they were 1-1 if I remember correctly. They got that big win over Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson played well, played better that second game than he did the first game. But Colts defenses look good. I think Colts can play right with Baltimore, especially if we have Richardson. I mean, Minshew's not terrible. That's one good thing is we do have a solid backup. But I'd feel better about our chances with Richardson because he puts defenses in some question or in some situations with his running ability where you don't have to worry about that as much with Minshew. And I think that that running ability of Richardson really adds to that Colts offense because of the trouble it can put a defense in. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be some good games coming up this week. But I thought that this week of the NFL was pretty good. I mean, the Chiefs Jaguars game was a good game. Jags had a lot of chances to win that game, and just couldn't be consistent at all on offense. Couldn't make no plays when they got down by the red zone. And the Chiefs was able to hold on and win. That Chiefs offense hasn't looked great yet the first couple games. But if you look in the past, the Chiefs offense hasn't looked real great in September over the last couple of years. I mean, last year they lost to the Colts in September, and Colts only won 3-4 games last year. If you look last year in September, it wasn't like they came out of the gate scoring a lot of points. They're a team that kind of last couple of years started a little slow on offense, but they are such a good team. They have been able to win some games, and then as the season goes on, they've gotten going a little better. So I'm not ready to write the Chiefs off yet, but I think it's going to be a fun season. But I don't know. Right now, I think the 49ers are the team to beat in the NFC, and right now I think they're probably the team to beat. Period. And then AFC. I mean, Dolphins have looked pretty good, but I still right now would kind of favoring the Bills or the Bills and the Chiefs in the AFC.
Bills and the Chiefs, yeah. Yeah, and Josh Allen, he played better in week 2.
Yeah. And I'd put the Dolphins right up there as well, but I'm still not completely sold on the Dolphins yet.
The Chiefs are clearly the team to beat in AFC.
But NFC, I like the 49ers. I know a lot of people are jumping on the Dallas Cowboy bandwagon. I still have some questions about Dak Prescott and that offense.
Yeah, but can they beat them in the playoffs when it really matters? Remember, Dak Prescott, I believe, help me if this stat is correct. Is he 1-7 in the month of December or January?
So that sounds right. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're off the top of my head, but that sounds right. Well, put it this way. Last year, the 49ers offense averaged like 28 points a game, close to 30 points a game. They played the Cowboys in the playoffs. 49ers only scored like 19 points. They held Cowboys defense held the 49ers under 19 points or under 20 points, excuse me. And that still wasn't enough for that Cowboys offense to be able to win that game. And I don't trust Dak Prescott in them big games when it gets playoff time. That's why it's hard for me to pick the Cowboys over the 49ers. I know the 49ers have a young quarterback in Purdy, but with that defense and the weapons around them, if he just keeps playing like he's playing and don't make a lot of big mistakes, the 49ers are going to be a tough team to beat, just like they were last year. I still believe there's a good chance the 49ers would have been in the Super Bowl and maybe won it last year if Purdy don't get hurt in that playoff game. At the beginning of that playoff game with the Eagles, I think the 49ers was capable of beating the Eagles. I can't sit here and say 100% they would have beat them, but I had the 49ers winning that game. And, of course, Purdy gets hurt at the beginning, and then they don't have a quarterback. And, hell, they were basically playing handicap because they couldn't throw the ball. It was all running, basically, because they didn't have nobody else to put in after the other guy got hurt.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see what would have happened. But, yeah, I like the 49ers. If they stay healthy, I think San Francisco is going to be a tough team to deal with.
They'll be a tough out. They'll definitely be a tough out, especially with the way Brock Purdy plays. I like him as their quarterback. I think he's poised. I think he's calm. I like his demeanor. I like his swagger. I like how he handles himself in big moments, and no moment is too big for him. We've seen that with him already. We saw how he had a breakout postseason a year ago with the 49ers, and he has commanded that offense. I think his teammates believe in him. I think they trust in him. They know that he can uh, engineer that offense, which he has, and he has been nothing more than impressive. Just to think that this guy was Mr. Irrelevant and how he has went from being Mr. Irrelevant to being a breakout star at the quarterback position is just beyond me. It's amazing. And then you look at the defense, and that's another thing. Brock Purdy, when you have so much around you, that takes a lot off of your shoulders. You have a lot of help around you. You have a ton of pieces. You have Debo Samuel. You have Christian McCaffrey. You have, what's the other receiver's name?
Ayuk.
Ayuk. There you go. Then you look on defense. You got Fred Warner. He's a great linebacker. Puts a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback. You look at Nick Bosa and what he's been able to do. So you got the defense, you got the offense, you got all the weapons. What more does Brock Purdy need to thrive? You're in a quarterback-friendly system thanks to Kyle Shanahan. So, the 49ers, to me, I just gave you everything you needed to know about the 49ers. They're the most complete team in football.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are so far as well. All right, man. Well, was there anything else you wanted to touch on today?
Man, you know what? This was a great show. We covered so much tonight. But before we get out of here, I just want to remind everyone to go check out manscaped.com. That's right. Check out manscaped.com. Finally, no more worries about my personal grooming. Check out manscaped.com. I love this product. It's the best I've ever used. Check out the Performance Package 4.0. Leaves you feeling clean, fresh, and confident all day. This luxury grooming kit features the Lawnmower 4.0, an all new skin safe electric trimmer. You got the Weed Whacker to get rid of those annoying, unattractive nose hairs. That's annoying, I know. The Crop Preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver, the Magic Mat. Check this stuff out, man. Use promo code The Sports Judge to get 20% off and free shipping. Again, use promo code The Sports Judge, that's in all caps, The Sports Judge, and get 20% off and free shipping. This stuff is really, really good. As you can see, here's the Performance Package 4.0 right here. Check this stuff out on the website and get your package today. You will absolutely love it, and it will change the way you feel about yourself and you as a man. So check that stuff out. Remember, use promo code The Sports Judge in all caps and get 20% off and free shipping.
Oh yeah, go check out manscaped.com. I got one of those kits sitting right here as well. It's a good product. Go check it. Go make sure you go check it out. You use the promo code Sports Judge, like Judge just said. Also, make sure you join us Thursday night. We'll be back at right around 11 o'clock Eastern time with another episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the Sports Judge. Also, check us out on Facebook, as well at Gonzo Sports Room and at the Sports Judge. Check out the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network on all social media. We appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We'll be back, like I said, Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern, with another episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
See ya.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.